Hello there, my name is John. Pleased to meet you from JVS Visual in Birmingham, UK. And today I'm going to show you all those people who've got DLP projectors out there, HD projectors, etc., etc., that seem to have all these problems with them, with digital mirror devices. White speck, which is white speckles on the screen, and it's down to defective digital mirror device process that sits on the back of the optical engine. There's no easy answer. You basically have to replace the digital mirror device. It's running about £100, anything from 50 to 100, £130, depending on which device it is. So there's about 3 or 4 different typical device types, but they all have different characteristics, so they all come under different reference numbers, and you'll see the numbers on the backs of the chips. But I've got here an Infocus projector, so I'm going to show you how to strip this typical Infocus, which is the 1N2114 model. I'm going to show you how to strip it to remove the motherboard, all the ribbons, and to get the main optical engine out and remove the CCD unit on the back of the optical block. Alright? It's pretty straightforward. You should be able to do it within half an hour to 3/4 an hour. Even a novice, having watched this, should be able to do it in that point of time. Okay? The first thing you start with the lamp cover. You remove the lamp assembly. You then remove the bottom screws and remove the top casing. When you remove the top casing, underneath, on top of the motherboard, there is a header connector. If you don't know what a header connector is, it's a micro connector that are used on various cameras and camcorders these days. It's micro. Be very careful when you're removing the top lid. Don't snatch the top lid from the assembly. Okay? Use your fingernail underneath the header connector very gently, very gently, and remove the multi-ribbon. Then when you've finished, push the header retainer back down. Alright, okay? After doing that, remove all the silver screws at the top and remove the top board assembly. When you remove the top board assembly, then remove all the grubbers at the back and the screws here. You then pull back on the motherboard. You can push that out of the way. You don't have to remove the power supply connectors. You don't have to remove the drive rotation for the colour wheel. Anything like that, you can just move it out of the way. You want to do 5 screws that hold the optical engine in place, 1 grubber at the back, which is just at the very back of the lamp assembly. Then you can take the header. Then you can take the whole optical engine out of the way. Remove the 4 screws, take the back of the optical out, then you'll be down to the processor, replace the processor, and then the putting together is the adverse. Obviously I won't be putting it together, I will be putting it together in my own time. Obviously the reassembly is the same as what you've taken apart. The beauty of using DMD devices, they do have the advantage. There is no actual setups really to do. The convergence is done for you. The focus is done for you. And as far as I'm concerned, if you've got a DLP projector, you know, if you can pick up the device at the right price, then, you know, if you're bothered about having HD high definition, whether it be 720, whether it be upscaled to whatever high definition 1080 progressive scale, whatever it may be, then fine. If you're at school, if you're at college, or if you're in university, you've got something like the old LCD panels, the 3031s, the 5051s, or the big giant XF10s, or the 9005s, have them repaired. Have them repaired. Have them repaired. They're fitting these Texas Instruments, listen, rubbish. These processors are rubbish, okay? I've done so many projectors now. I've been working on them since I very first started with the Sharps, the ones that were sort of suitcase size, okay? If you want them repaired, then of course, have them repaired. But if you've got an LCD projector, they started off with LCD projectors where panels, where you could remove each individual panel, the red, green, blue panels. You could then replace the individual panels. You could set the focus up on each of the individual panels. You could set up the horizontal, the vertical phase of a panel. You could set the horizontal and vertical positions of the panel. You could set the phase of the panels. They were fantastic, and they were so reliable. And then after having done that, then they decided to factory set them. So they would solder the panels around a prism, and they would epoxy them. So unfortunately, if one panel went down, you had to replace the whole assembly. But from my point of view, if it doesn't stop you, if you want to use something like Google Homecast, if you want to use Google Cast, you can still use that through a standard VGA RGB projector. You can just buy a converter. So you can convert from the HD to RGB or VGA. So you can still broadcast using your Google Cast. But from my point of view, Google Cast is fantastic if you're going to be using something like Netflix, or you want to be watching YouTube. That's brilliant, because they're on their own servers, they're on their own storage facilities. So you'll simply play them from their own drives. But when you're streaming from your device, rubbish. Waste of time. I live in Birmingham in the UK. I'm lucky if I get an internet service off Virgin, never mind being able to stream, because the amount of bandwidth that I'm supposed to get, forget it. It's a waste of time. It's only any good for sending emails. You may as well give me standard dial-up. Anyway, that's not going on there. Today, I'm going to be stripping this Infocus. You're going to see me strip it and get it down to, and I will take the DMD device off. Ready, okay? Here we go. Okay, 2 screws at the side, where the lamp assembly comes. Flip the top back, okay, and simply remove, okay. 2 screws the lamp assembly. 1, 2. Pull the retainer, remove the lamp assembly. Five silver screws at the top, remove those. Okay, screws at the back. Do the back ones. Okay, got 2 black ones. 2 black ones there, right next door to each other. and a very tiny one right where in between the audio ones. Don't forget to remove that one. The very small micro one. Remove that one. Okay? When you've done that, so you remove the cover, you remove the screws from the top, you remove all the grubbers from the back, from the monitor out, and 15-pin VGAs and serial ports. Move those grubbers. Okay. Okay, when you've done one more in, right, when you've done that, then you remove the self-tappers on the bottom of the base. Now, Infocus have done a crafty one here. Let me remove these first. There's one. Two. Three. 4. 5. There's a crafty one. Infocus has started sticking underneath the main bottom here, underneath this label. Put your finger right in the corner. This one's obviously been removed before, but right in the corner of the label, feel it, you'll feel an indent. Okay? When you feel the indent, take your screwdriver and just prod it. Yeah? And it will go through, right in the middle, more or less right in the middle of the projector is another fixing screw. Now, don't worry if it doesn't come out, because the label will keep it in place. Right, turn it upside down. When you turn it upside down, sometimes these screws on the lids don't come out all in one go. Okay? And sometimes they stick into the plastic. Okay? When you've taken that out, okay, you can lift that. Right, now when you get the lid up, be very careful. As I said, you'll get you'll get a connector with 2 wires on. That's the lamp protector, because obviously you can't power up the projector if the lamp cover's open, and that's to protect you from high tension from the ballast unit, because you'll know about it if you get a kick from that. Okay, put your finger underneath the header connector and remove the multi-ribbon. Push the connector back down when you're finished. You don't want to be breaking that off the header, because if you damage the header and you can't replace the top of the header, then you replace the whole connector. And replacing header connectors is not nice. It's not the kind of job you really want to be doing when you've simply got to replace, when you're taking it apart simply just to replace the DMD device. Okay, so let's carry on. Right. Remove the speaker, which is at the front of the circuit board on the right, and remove the connector for the speaker on the back left. When you've removed all those connectors from the back, okay, you can then remove the back panel. Okay, then you can start removing the screws. Right, the silver screws from the top metal shroud. Right, 1, 2. There's 2 on the CCD device. Yeah. Okay. There's 4. 1 for the metal shroud there. Move that one. That's 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Remove the multi-ribbon there from the top, from the multi-connector from the right hand side of the middle of the motherboard. When you've done that, okay, and then take the, it's just dropped up, metal shroud from the top of the motherboard. Okay. Now there are some extra screws underneath here. Right, there's 3 extra metal screws. You do not need to remove those. Off the top of my head, you don't need to remove them. Right, when you've done that, you can then pull the metal shroud back gently and remove that board. Right, gently ease that board back. Okay, when you've done that, you'll see there's 2 metal screws down the back here. Got to remove at the back of the bottom shield. Remove the bottom shield because you have to remove the shield to get to the lens assembly. There's 2 screws, self-tappers at the back of the bottom shroud. Remove those, bottom shield. When you've removed those, yes, and there's one, what was another one? There's one at the left, which is a normal screw. It's not a self-tapper. Okay, remove that one. Then when you've done that, you can remove that shroud. The top of my head. Right, but you don't have to totally remove it out of the way, just so you can manoeuvre it. Okay, right then. When you've done that, as I said, at the back of the lamp, where the lamp assembly connects in, the back of that, you'll see there's a self-tapper. Big round self-tapper, just in front of the multi-connector from the power supply. Right, undo that one. Take that out. Right. Yeah. When you've removed that, then you can start to remove the screws from the CCD, from the DMD. So I'm calling it a charge coupled device that's used on camcorders. You can remove the screws from the lens assembly. Start moving the screws from the lens assembly. There's 1. There's 2. Okay. Straight. One. 2. Oh. Okay. So all those removed. Right then. When you've removed all those fixing screws, you can then remove the lens assembly. Okay. Yeah, that's the whole lens assembly removed. That's the projector. You then remove the 4 screws that hold the clamping heatsink to the processor, to the DMD device. Here. remember, reassembly is the adverse to the disassembly. Okay? So you remove those, then off comes the processor. There's the processor. Yeah? On the assembly, you gently take that, like that. Okay, from the block assembly, you can then, if you very gently, some of these are locked in position, some of these are not, this one's not. You then take that very gently, just lift it onto the bottom lip and then take it away from the board. Don't put your fingers all over it, because obviously you don't want to minimise the light, and simply just reassemble the unit, replace it, and reassemble it. Alright, thanks for looking. Oh yeah, before I go, I do get various people sending me asking me for technical tips. Today I received an email, and this one's from Peter, and Peter sends me an email from Denmark. Okay, it tells me he's got a PLC XC56, which is a Sanyo, and he says about that on my repair channel, I say about Sanyos with defective fans. Well, the XC56, if I remember right, is an early Sanyo, and when you take the top off, Peter, his name's Peter, forgive me if I get his surname wrong, Peter, it's Joseph. Well, let me just tell you, Peter, once you take the top off the projector, on the right hand side there's two fans. Now, I've only ever had one problem with problem with these fans, and that is the exhaust fans, and they get stinking hot, obviously, because they're right by the lamp assembly. I've had them bubble, and I've had the rotor seize inside the bearings. It's a giveaway because you just can't move the inner rotor. The other problem is the capacitors in the power supply, but that's not all. Normally it will start squealing, the oscillator will start squealing from the power supply. And the other problem is, of course, the ballast units. Sometimes they can be on for so many seconds and then just go off. But I can tell you now, Peter, you can also get this from lamp assemblies. So be very careful before you start spending money. But you can. Alright? So that's just to let you know. But the most common is the fan assembly. But you say about, in my videos, those are the 200s and the 250s, the newer models of Sanyos, where they use cheap fans. Yeah, they started to use really cheap brushless fans, and they make all sorts of knocking and grinding noises. All right, but it is worth doing. It's an LCD projector, and if you're getting okay, you're getting the countdown, you're getting the projection, it's powering up. After so many seconds, it shuts down. If the fans are all running, and if those two exhaust fans are running at the side, I think there's one at the front as well. If you move the front panel, is there one there at the front? Make sure that's moving. Failing that, I think the ballasts, I'm not sure if they're in like a sandwich with a power supply, but I've had those ballasts go. That's another common one, is those ballasts. But the lamps are reliable, but they do go. They can give intermittent problems. Anyway, thanks for looking. That's the Infocus. Stripping it apart and replacing the device. All right. Thanks for looking. I'd like to help you. If you've got any technical inquiries, if you're at college, university, you want me to come and service your kit or repair your kit for you, you know, there's so many people, there's so many companies now who don't like helping customers, and they put them through and they hold them on and keep them holding on the line. You can't speak to them one-to-one. You can call me, okay? But if you want to call JVS Visual, and you know, you can always call me for technical things. I'm not on any premium rate number. Give me a call, send me a text, and I'll do my best to help you out. Alright? Thanks for watching. Bye bye.